please take a moment to hit the like button right now so you don't forget. Also, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel out, of course. And also hit the notification bell. Okay, so we're working to get deeper into this very crazy story. The series is Life Beyond the Grave, the Lori Vallow case. And where we left off last time was Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, was arrested for attacking her ex-husband, third husband, Joseph Ryan, with a taser gun. And Alex Cox's friend, Tracy, says she's used to talking to Alex about 2 to 3 times a day. But a few months after August, she doesn't hear from him. And you can find that interview where Tracy explains her relationship with Alex Cox on Hidden True Crime on YouTube. So, getting back to the story, Tracy is concerned about her friend Alex. So she calls his boss to find out that he's in Maricopa County Jail. And he was transported to Texas a few weeks later. Alex Cox seems extremely comfortable with sharing anything he has on his mind with Tracy. And it seems to me that Alex Cox realizes that Tracy is a good friend, and good friends are easy to manipulate, especially if they have a good heart and are not good at saying no. Now guys, I want to remind you that I am recording in a bit of tropical storm winds still lingering about, so you might hear a lot of nature and a bit of noise because I'm outside recording today. So moving forward a little bit, this is some interesting documents that I recovered, and these were online. I can't remember where I got them. So back in July 2007, Tylee's ad litem has something to say. She says, I was appointed as a guardian ad litem in the case late July of 2007, representing Tylee Ryan. She was 5 years old at the time. She says, unfortunately, this case has been extremely volatile, and the parents and the child are experiencing significant anxiety. All parties were anxiously awaiting the final hearing in the form of a jury trial September 24, 2007, and the case was not reached. So here you can see where Lori has some experience with jury trials. There are many disturbing events in this case that included a tasering incident at the kids' exchange after the first supervised visit, and the alleged assault in the courthouse cafeteria after a hearing. I am concerned about the level of tension affecting Tylee's emotional well-being if visits continue during this period of uncertainty. Tylee has spoken to me about being scared and not being able to sleep at night. She has reported the same to her therapist, yet does not identify why she's distressed. This report does not identify either parent's actions or presence to be the cause of this anxiety, but the anxiety exists, also identified by testing with Dr. David Pohl. And I believe the ongoing tension about the visits contribute significantly to this situation. Tylee did not see her father. And this document goes on a little bit longer, but I wanted to cover this thing where you hear there's quite a few questionable attacks. Though the one in the cafeteria was not really detailed, so we don't know exactly what happened with that right now. This case is huge. It has a lot of people, a lot of research. So we'll continue. We know that Joseph Ryan, Lori Vallow, they are having a very bitter custody battle over Tylee. Tylee's not feeling well. She's having trouble sleeping. Also, around this time, August 21st of 2007, the police are meeting with witnesses to the attack on Joseph Ryan. They're shown a lineup and asked to choose who they think was the attacker. And they were able to pull out Alex Cox. On September 10th of 2007, around 23, the officer, it writes out an incident report. So it said that he was called by the victim in the case, which is Joseph Ryan, on September 6th, and that his daughter had reported seeing him fall to the ground at the time of the incident. If she saw the incident, he thinks that it means that his ex-wife was there to see the incident as well. So you can see here, both of the parents are asking Tali, what did you see when you were with Daddy? What did you see when you were with Mommy? The child is a tool, and she's being manipulated, and this really upsets me. Now, it says in a statement also that when Joseph Ryan's daughter told Joseph Ryan about his mom seeing this incident, it was also witnessed by his attorney, Taniguchi, and Leslie Smith. So right now, I want to take time to go into a few things related to their belief system. We hear the name Nephi mentioned throughout the Lori Vallow case, especially those of us who dig deep. And to help you better understand the case, you need to understand the belief system. And let's not forget that these are original LDS documents that they've taken and twisted to fit their ideas, their direction that they want to take in the Church of the Firstborn. So who is Nephi? Nephi is basically one of the first prophets and names mentioned in the Book of Mormon. He was born in Jerusalem. His father was Lehi. And God asked that he flee Jerusalem so that he wasn't killed. And he made his way somehow here to America. The very, make it simple version. Nephi was also a visionary, and he had visions of the Zion as the future. Nephi described Zion as becoming the power over all the earth, and also will unite all to fight against the saints of God. Nephi is able to see all the circumstances as well as the events leading up to this major event that will happen, supposedly, according to Russell Nelson, in the millennial. In fact, in a 2020 conference, Russell said that all the LDS and the people on earth will live to see all these events. So President Nelson actually quoted that, "For the time cometh, saith the Lamb of God, that I will work a great and marvelous work among the children of men, and work which shall be everlasting, either on one hand or on another, either to the convincing of them unto peace and the life eternal, or unto the deliverance of them to the hardness of their hearts and the blindness of their minds unto their being brought down into captivity, and also into destruction, both temporarily and spiritually, according to the captivity of the devil, of which I have spoken." So this is supposedly, according to a YouTube video, the devil speaking to Satan himself. So there's two groups. There's the group for the peace and life eternal, and then you have the second group, which is for deliverance. Basically, it's not the good group. I'm going to skip bits of the doctrine. And he says, "And he said unto me, Behold, there are saved two churches only. The one is the church of the Lamb of God, and the other is the church of the devil. Wherefore, whoso belongeth not to the church of the lambs of God belongeth to the great church, which is the mother of abominations, and she is the whore of all the earth. And it came to pass that I looked, and behold, the whore of all earth, And she sat upon many waters, and she had dominion over all earth, among all nations, kindreds, tongues, and people. And it came to pass that I beheld the church of the Lamb of God, and its numbers were few, because the wickedness and abominations of the whore who sat upon many waters. Nevertheless, I beheld the church of the Lamb, who were the saints of God, were also upon all the face of the earth, and their denominations upon the face of the earth were small, because of the wickedness of the great whore whom I saw. Now Nephi will speak about the people, the saints, being few, because most people are wicked, and them gathering up to fight the wicked. And it came to pass that I beheld the great mother of abominations did gather together multitudes upon the face of the earth among all the nations of the Gentiles to fight against the Lamb of God. It came to pass that I, Nephi, beheld the power of the Lamb of God, and that it descended upon the saints of the church of the Lamb, and upon covenant people of the Lord, who scattered upon all the face of the earth, and they were armed with righteousness and with the power of the God and great glory. And it came to pass that I beheld the wrath of God was poured out upon the great and abominable church, insomuch that there was wars and rumors of wars among all the nations and kindreds of the earth. So it is taught through the podium, through many of the leaders attached to the LDS, that you have two groups. You have the evil and those who are of God. And there are wars coming, and those wars are going to be between God's people and the evil of the devil. So this is something that's to happen over many years. In this future, when they're gathering for Zion, when this time comes, anyone that stands against Zion shall be destroyed. If you want to read more on this, you can look it up on 1 Nephi 22. So this is interesting. In 15, the day shall soon cometh that all the proud and they who do wickedly shall be as stubble, and the day cometh that they must be burned. Verse 16, for the time soon cometh that the fullness of the wrath of God shall be poured out upon all the children of men, for he will not suffer that the wicked shall destroy the righteous. So, verse 17, wherefore he will preserve the righteous by his power, even if it so be that the fullness of his wrath must come, and the righteous be preserved, even unto the destruction of their enemies by fire. Wherefore the righteous need not fear, for thus saith the prophet, they shall be saved, even if it so be as by fire. So I believe this is a very important statement for where we see the children involved with this case, how they are done by Lori, Chad, and Alex Cox, allegedly. This vision of Nephi continues on, and we're going to read a little bit deeper, but I want to remind you why some of the things that Lori says to Charles Vallow. I think it's important that you listen closely to this next verse, if I can speak. Wherefore, for this cause, that my covenants may be filled which I have made unto the children of men, that I will do unto them while they are in the flesh. I must needs destroy the secret works of darkness, and of murders, and of all abominations. Wherefore, he that fighteth against Zion, both Jew and Gentile, both bond and free, both female and male, shall perish. For they are who are the whore of all the earth. For they are who are not for me, are against me, saith our God. So if you are not on the team, okay, so team saint then you're team devil. And this is important for those of you that are just catching on to this case. This is how Lori thinks. When we start getting to that part, when we start in 2018 at least, you're either on team Lori and Chad, or you are evil. You're the devil. Remember, Lori believes that she is a prophet, one of the first female prophets of this religion. And so there's a group of people that's going to inherit this kingdom and be leaders of this new Zion. And so if you are on team Lori and Chad again, you are the people that are of righteousness. And to Lori and Chad, most people are not on their team, which means most of us are demons, Satan worshipers, and evil. So during this second coming, according to Joseph Fielding Smith, he says, quote, "When the reign of Jesus Christ comes during the millennium, only those who have lived the terrestrial law will be removed. The earth will be cleansed of all of its corruption and wickedness. Those who have lived virtuous lives, who have been honest in their dealings with their fellow man, and who have endeavored to do good to the best of their understanding, shall remain." End quote. And I want to give a shout out to Light and Truth, the YouTube channel, because without them, and I'm still struggling to help people understand the mindsets of Lori and Chad. And so now we will move into Revelations and symbols. And Revelation is where you find out about the tribulations. Actually, I might actually save this for a bit later on, but it's important for you to understand that in the LDS teachings, they really do kind of teach to beware of governments, to have more trust in yourself than you do your community. So when you see Lori Vallow's defiant in the near future, and even through the Joseph Ryan battle for Tylee, you notice that she's very defiant against law. And there's a reason for that. And when you see her smirk in the courtrooms and feel, she's giving off this energy like she thinks she's better than everyone there, that's because she really does believe this. She believes everyone surrounding her that's not within her little group, you're not as smart as Lori. You don't understand what's going on in this world, and you're inferior. This is very important to remember as we move forward in this case, because this is her mindset her entire life. It just gets worse. And she's the type of woman that will sit there, listen to what you have to say if she doesn't agree, and just smile at you. It's not until later on that she believes that she is developing into this warrior. Because in this time, she's kind of tiptoeing in the dark, behind trees. Her life is secret, and she's afraid to share who she is and what things are about, what her life is about, and what she's aiming for. What's her goals? Well, her goals in life is to be one of God's main servants, possibly even to be a goddess. But she's not quite at that point at this timeline in 2007. Not yet. Also, around this time, Alex Cox is talking with his friend Tracy. He asked his friend to print up a report that Joe looks at, basically porn. Can you imagine what she was thinking when she realizes Alex Cox is asking her to lie about a man that she doesn't know? And all she can do is take Alex Cox's word that this man is hurting or abusing the children in some way. So, according to Tracy in an interview, she tells Cox no. But remember how we thought there's a possibility that Alex Cox could be innocent in all this and that he was just doing what he could for his sister? Well, that lessens, because this act basically shows you how manipulative Alex is and the lengths he'll go to in order to take somebody down. So for a man of God, and these people to be walking in the light of Jesus Christ himself, it doesn't match, because I don't believe Jesus Christ would ever manipulate anyone in order to take them down. So let's cover this part. So I want to cover the part where Lori's brother Alex Cox is sitting in jail for the attack on Joseph Ryan. He's writing letters to his friend Tracy, and he also starts to write scriptures. And according to Tracy, she feels though this relationship between her and Alex Cox, this friendship, it can't continue or go further until she becomes a Mormon. Tracy says that she had actually gone to dinner with Cox, the Cox family. And she says she got to know them a little bit, but didn't know them too much. She spoke with his father a little bit, Barry. And Tracy says that she felt like Alex was just trying to encourage her to become Mormon for whatever reason. She didn't understand why. And in a later interview, Tracy talks about the court documents and how Alex Cox, her friend, had actually tased Joseph Ryan twice and threatened to kill him. After he was sentenced 90 days in jail, she says, quote, he was really obsessed and almost fixated with the desire to get Joseph Ryan. And during his time behind bars, Tracy said that her friend Alex Cox sent her 4 letters, and in those letters, he usually found a way to mention his ex-brother-in-law, Joseph Ryan. In one letter, it reads, quote, do me a favor, call Janice. He's talking about his mother. Ask her to put Joe's address on the postcard and his license plate number. I think it will be popular here, end quote. So here you can understand, this is some kind of secret code that is actually pretty blatant, insinuating he's going to go after Joseph Ryan one way or another, whether it be through someone else he knows through jail or some other way. And here it seems that his mother, Janice Cox, she knows this and she's accepted this, and this is okay with her. This is concerning. These are red flags. This is involving the whole entire family doing these crazy acts and actually supporting them. And I think this is the problem that so many of Janice's kids have trouble. Lori Vallow, her mother Janice, her brother Alex Cox, her little sister Summer, they all seem to understand Alex Cox very well and what he's capable of doing. There's no doubt in my mind, if where Joseph Ryan passes away later, that this could be considered evidence for premeditation. There's so much evidence against Lori and Alex Cox that they were plotting to hurt Joseph Ryan. But the problem is, when he passes away, it isn't taken serious like so many other parts of this case, like Charles Vallow, Tammy Daybell. It just goes on and on. So what's interesting is we know that Alex Cox, he seems to have contact with people who are behind bars, and he's asking them to do these horrible things to someone they know. Now, we know that Alex Cox knows what Joseph Ryan looks like, and we know that Joseph Ryan has been to the hospital. He's having to deal with some very, these are real things happening in his life, events that are very devastating, just because he wants something to do with his daughter. So in another letter, Tracy said, Cox wrote, P.S. Can you get a picture from Lori of one of her ex-husbands and send it to me? And Alex states that some of the guys would like to hang out with him, end quote. So It seems like he did find somebody that wouldn't mind finding Joseph Ryan and doing some, we don't know what, but doing something to him, finding him for some reason. And Janice Cox, Lori Cox's mother, is along for the ride. This family relationship is probably one of the most bizarre I have ever come across. There's actually another case I might cover where another mother would do anything for her child. So, we all love our children and we will do anything for them. But how far should you go to support your children? So if they're doing evil things, do you continue to be a supportive mother? Even more shocking is the fact that we know that this is a Christian family, a Mormon family, who is supposed to do the right thing. They're fighting against evil, not for it, right? Well, that doesn't seem the case here. Now, when Tracy was asked, Alex's friend, if she really believes all this, or Cox could have possibly believed all of this, and she says she believes that Cox's sister convinced him that her ex harmed Tylee. Quote, I can't fathom how Alex would have come to this conclusion that Joe was harming Tylee if Lori hadn't been telling him that, end quote. So here you go. Here's that letter. And this was reported first that I had found by Justin Lum on Fox. So Alex says, I apologize for the boyfriend joke. I couldn't make it to work. He tells Tracy, would you do me a favor and call Janice, his mother, and ask her to put Joe's address on a postcard or his license plate number. I think it will be popular in here. No name, just an address and plates number. Thanks. Okay, let's talk about me. We get to go outside for recess. I have an hour a day, 4 days a week. My back was bad for about 2 weeks, so I didn't go out. And I found this odd thing that he said. He said, but last week I went out and took my shirt off and I got burnt. And he says so he didn't go out. So here you can see where he writes P.S. Can you send a picture? What's odd here is he seems to insinuate that Tracy might have a way of contacting Lori. Not positive, but that's something to consider. But definitely, he feels very confident to send such a damning letter from the jailhouse, as if they don't understand what he's saying, to Tracy. And I try to always give people the benefit of the doubt, but in this group of people, honestly, I sometimes find it very hard to believe that these people were able to remain friends with people who act this way and say things like that. I don't know if they're desperate. I don't know if they don't believe them. But still, there's flags. They're just flags popping up everywhere throughout this entire case. Maybe that's just the way people are today. There's just more bad people than good. We have lost our morals. So let's talk about Lori Vallow's mother, Janice Cox. So Janice, Lori's mother, she seems to be going through each drama event that ever happens attached to Lori. She has been connected to each one that I have researched so far. She seems to be her advocate and mentor. But it's not known if Janice really realizes that Lori is having mental struggles as suggested in documents. It just seems that Janice Cox seems to be a devout support no matter what. Like Lori, she too seems to struggle with what is right and what is wrong. But one thing's for certain. Miss Cox, Lori's mother, she protects her child with everything she has. So in my opinion, on the research, Janice is sending a message to Lori that she's capable of manipulating other people who love her the most. The problem is this, is Lori is about to destroy this family that Janice fights so hard to protect. And she's one of Lori's main enablers. So I kind of want to go over something quickly. So Alex's friend Tracy says that Alex was excommunicated from the Mormon church from around 2006 to 2009 but she can't remember exactly. I really believe, based on some of the stuff that I found, it suggested that he was excommunicated 2007 after being jailed. Definitely a felony runs along the lines for one of the reasons to be excommunicated. So here's a few reasons. Church members can be or become candidates for excommunication as they are involved, or they involve themselves in gross inequality. Also, they can be excommunicated for things like apostatized from teachings of the church. So things like Lori is doing on a regular basis, which are, let's see, some of these transgressions are, let's say, adultery. This is something she will do shortly. Sexual perversion, which also is something she's doing, and I'll explain why later. Serious civil court convictions, like a felony, and of course, murder. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here, but please check out these faces. These girls are still missing. Please share their face, share their story. Also, please donate to Patreon if you like my channel and you like the work that I do. It takes a lot of work. I put in a lot of hours, and it's difficult to put this much time in and not get anything, to help you keep it going. I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. We have some of the best subscribers, I think, on YouTube. You guys are the best. You rock. I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for this channel, and just thanks for being here. And I was hoping that if we would have actually grown a little bit more and we were actually bringing in some funds, I could have hired editors and was able to do better stories and more stories, more diverse at least. So you know what? I haven't given up yet, so I'll keep trying. We've had a lot of setbacks. And in fact, just recently I found out that one of my friends took her own life, and that I don't know, it really got to me. So like a lot of you out there, we've had quite a tough year and a half. But we keep fighting, we keep staying strong, we just keep going, guys. So I love you guys so much. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll have part 18 up as soon as I can.